Hey guys, Dislitter Magic here, and you know that I'm a big fan of covering alternative game types for MTG. I really like Emperor and Plane Chase, for example, because they're just unbelievably fun. So when my friends over at D3Go requested that I make a sponsored video about the mobile game MTG Puzzle Quest, I couldn't pass it up. I've played it before, and so have my friends, and it really is quite fun. At the moment, it's sitting at a massive 4.3 rating in the Google Play Store, which is considered overwhelmingly positive. The game is pretty similar to regular Magic in that you build a deck of multiple copies of 10 unique cards, then you take it and verse AI or human opponents. The biggest difference is that instead of getting your mana from lands, you get them from moves made on a puzzle grid made out of mana symbols. In my opinion, that's the funnest part because let's be honest, we all hate lands. Lands are the number one reason we lose games. A lot of other TCGs decided to ditch the whole land idea and just give you automatic mana per turn or some other system, and, well, Magic Puzzle Quest is basically MTG without lands. So some of you are probably like, I'm free! Finally, I can play Magic without the stupid lands! And others of you are like, wait a minute, I have to solve puzzles and do sliding stuff, and that involves thinking, and thinking hard, me not think. Trust me, it takes about 10 seconds to learn the system and then you're a pro at it. Now, the biggest difference between this and regular Magic is the mana cost and how the cards are structured. They're effectively the same. For example, this is a 2/2 human warrior ally for 5. That's the mana cost in the top right there. And then, Ruinous Path, traditional black kill spell. This one has an awaken cost of 9 and a cast cost of 5, which is higher than normal. And then if you look at some of the much higher ones, like a cost of 11, it does fit with the game. It's not like an 11 cost in regular Magic. So yeah, you look at Reflector Mage, okay, it costs 11, but that's because what it does is completely insane. And what it does is phrased a little bit differently than the normal card, but basically it bounces something back to hand. I love that part about the game where they made the card effectively do the same thing that it does in Magic, but it's phrased or performed a little bit differently, and it's kind of like you're in the Twilight Zone of Magic. It's like a mirror universe where things are really similar but completely different. Let me just start by saying you play as a Planeswalker, and it's your choice of Planeswalker, which everybody knows in regular Magic you play as a Planeswalker, but in this game, you literally play as a Planeswalker. Now, the Planeswalker is kind of like a commander, except it's always in play because it's the player that's playing, and whatever your Planeswalker's life total is, that's your life total. So your starting life total depends upon the level of your Planeswalker. Every Planeswalker has 3 abilities, and you can use them if you're the proper level. And over time, they actually upgrade to new versions of them that are more powerful, which is my favorite part. Chandra's first ability at high levels is insane. You gain loyalty counters as you go on through the game, and then you can spend them kind of like spell points on your different abilities. They tend to really turn the game around, or at least help you out quite a bit, especially Gideon and Chandra. The biggest difference between this game and regular Magic is the combat. They use mostly the same mechanics like Trample, First Strike, and Unblockable, but creatures cannot normally block. That means from the very start of the game, it's a fast-paced shootout while you're trying to demolish your opponent's life total. Creatures who have Defender do block, but keep in mind that they also can attack as well, unlike the normal Defender mechanic. Sometimes you purposely want to attack your opponent's creatures because yours are larger and you just want them off the field, so then you're looking for a creature with Berserker. You can also, of course, grant a creature Berserker with a spell or ability. Keep in mind, though, that damage on creatures doesn't wear off at the end of turn. It's permanent. Flying, Trample, First Strike, and the other classics work exactly like you think, though. The other major difference is that you're limited to only summoning 3 creatures onto the battlefield at a time. This keeps the game fair and keeps your opponent from getting completely out of control. Now, as far as spells and casting them in mana, you're allowed to have 6 cards in hand at any given time. You can change the order of them, and the mana just fills top to bottom. The spell starts with a cost of, we'll just say, 10, for example, and then as you fill it up, the remaining amount goes down. The little white circle around the spell fills up, and once you get to 0, the spell casts, if it's appropriate or if you choose to cast it at that point. Now, some of them, if they just have an effect and it's not targeted and it's not conditional, it's going to cast, but if it's like a 4th creature, it'll say, hey, do you want to replace something on the battlefield or do you not? If it's a targeted kill spell, you'll say, oh, I don't want to cast it yet, I don't like the targets. If it's a spell that says, hey, I'm going to boost all your creatures by 2, then it's going to cast. Now, you can fill it with mana, but disable it so it doesn't cast and just save it for later. The mana generation system basically is match 3 of the same color by making one single flip-flop move. All things being equal, if you were to match 3 blue spots, you'll actually get 3 blue mana. But your Planeswalker has certain penalties and certain advantages, and at higher levels it's pretty much just advantages. So Gideon, for example, is white, so if you were to match 3 white, you'll actually get 5 mana, just because that's his color. Now the color of the spell doesn't matter at all. As you level up your Planeswalker, you'll get more mana from your primary colors and also more mana from your not-so-primary colors. Some Planeswalkers are more split among, 3 pretty evenly, and a lot of them are just, hey, straight up, here's my color. If you happen to match up 4 in a row, then you're going to get 4 mana bare minimum, and if you match up 5, you not only get 5 mana, but you also get an extra swap. If you're wondering what the uncolored ones are, those are the Planeswalker symbol on it, so they obviously give you loyalty. You match a bunch of those and you'll get a whole bunch of loyalty, which can speed you to using your Planeswalker ability a lot sooner. They don't give you any mana though, so it's a little bit of a trade-off. As you can see in the gameplay, your biggest advantage is to match a whole bunch of them at once, which is sort of unpredictable, sort of lucky, but if you're really good at planning and can really see the patterns, you can plan what will happen and say, hey, I'll get 3 mana off this, 5 mana off this, and that'll cause this one to collapse, which will give me 3 more mana. Once in a while, you or your opponent might generate an absurd amount of mana by this cascading effect, and can definitely swing the game. So you're probably wondering, hey, how do you get the cards for your deck? How do you get the card pool to choose what to build? That would be from buying booster packs, basically, and boy, are they cheaper than real Magic, or MTGO, or anything like it. And you're probably thinking, yay, microtransactions. Well, they didn't make the game out of the goodness of their hearts just so you guys could have fun with it, but I will mention that the prices are outrageously low, and if you really wanted, you could reasonably play for free or pretty darn close to it. One booster from Origins, for example, is 60 crystals, which you could get in no time playing the game for free. In fact, I saved up, a couple thousand in just a couple days, so it's pretty darn easy. So let's open, let's open a Shadows one, see what we can get here, because I got 60 crystals. Whenever it shakes, it means it's a rare better. Look at that, Corrupted Graphstone. I don't think I have that one. At the beginning of your turn, 2 gems are converted to the gems of your Planeswalker's color. Oh boy, that is nice, because for a little bit less, there's a version of this that's only green, but having it in any deck, that is powerful. Do not underestimate the chances that you'll automatically get a match off of a card like this. Next up, we've got, Lampholt Pacifist. I'm familiar with that one. It's pretty good. It's a flip card, actually. So, can't attack unless you control another creature with power 6 or more. I think that's pretty similar to the real card. And then, if no cards were cast last turn, flip it. So, traditional old school werewolf. And we've got a 6/6. Oh boy, that ain't playing. So, for 11, that's not too bad. It's about a medium power creature. Oh, a lot of colorless going on. Or foreboding runes. When it enters the battlefield, Delirium, which I won't go into explaining how that works. You guys can check it out in the game. But 3 gems are converted to black or red. Nice. A lot of the color fixing does that. Intrepid Provisioner. A 2/2 with Trampler for 9. Wow. When this creature enters the battlefield, target human control gets +2/+2 till end of turn. You can build a human themed deck if you really get enough cards. I tend to just throw in a theme or the best of the best from a certain concept instead of going, tribal. But it really does work, especially zombies. And, Lashweed Lurker. This one is powerful. It costs 14, but it's totally worth it because it's a 5/4. It has a merge too, and a merge is whenever one of your creatures dies, this creature gains 2 mana, and any other creature with a merge. So that's pretty awesome. And then when this enters the battlefield, target creatures return to the top of its owner's library. So you can bounce it back to hand, except you could also do it when they have 6 cards in hand, which is not normally the way that works. So pretty good open there. That's pretty awesome. And once you get a couple really good cards, especially if they all share a color, you're just going to dominate. So you're probably thinking, hey, I don't want to suffer with really bad cards for a while, but I don't want to drop a ton of money on it. Well, simple. You get a free booster every 8 hours. Oh my gosh. And the last one I just opened, I got a rare Mana Gorger Hydra, one of the better cards in the game. Now, the other huge thing is, check this out, the daily bonuses. So we're in November here. This is day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, and then day 5 is a booster. So every 5 days is a booster. And you get an extra reward if you log in at least 21 times, not even in a row, just in the month. You get a free fat pack. Yeah, an entire fat pack. So you add up all these crystals, that's insane. You can buy all kinds of cards plus the free boosters anyway, and those are full 5-card boosters. And then these little runes, I guess you could call them, are what you use to level up your planeswalker. And at low levels, it's just, 100, a couple hundred. And at high levels, like really high levels, it's only about, 1,500 to I think up to 4,000 at insanely high levels like I am, to level up your planeswalkers. So this will get you going pretty quick. Now the main part of the game is the story mode. So you can go through the kind of like a storyline with the Eldrazi and Battle for Zendikar. You got Origins, they're by chapters, and it gets progressively harder as you go. So the more you play, the more rewards you get, and the more crystals, the more runes to level up your planeswalker. So you'll get more powerful as the battles get harder, and you really won't find yourself getting much behind. So it's definitely a really cool game. I mean, I absolutely love it. I've been playing it a ton. And, some of the more challenging opponents are really legitimately challenging without being, like, annoying. Oh, did you see that? Oh, that's a shame. I almost feel bad. Sorry, Ulamog. Sorry, Akum Firebird. Anyway, I didn't even touch on like the player versus player because you can verse a human. That's pretty cool. Honestly, it's easier than some of the AI players. There's also, spells, creatures, but then also like supports, which are on the battlefield and then they can be destroyed. They work kind of like enchantments. And then traps. Oh my gosh. Now, you guys admit it. You are jealous that Yu-Gi-Oh players get traps. Okay, well, now we get traps. They're like invisible mana spots on the board. I mean, I won't ruin it for you. You guys should just check out the game for yourself. There's a link down in the description, and I'll have a little bit more advanced, in-depth look at, the Planeswalkers, what they do, and some more gameplay in the near future. So check the game out for yourself, and I'll see you guys next video.